to me. It's relationship building. The reason why black-owned companies don't always make it is because they have neglected to understand the importance of relationship building. How do you build relationships? Relationships are just what do you see? What do you consume? What does it look like to you? You know, once you start getting black-owned businesses that do promotions, that do development, that work on massaging your, you know, your ideas of what it's supposed to look like, then we can get into those sales. You know, a prime example of that, a great relationship building that has happened in the black community right now is the natural hair industry. We're almost shutting out every relaxer and all that type of stuff industry. But why did that happen? Because it became a part of relationship building. Whether you got locks or natural afro or whatever you do for your own natural hair, you see a connective tissue, and that becomes the relationship building. Now you got European sisters and Caribbean sisters and African sisters and sisters everywhere coming together under that moniker. And we're creating, instead of, we're not smothering out Asian stores, we're just making our own products at home. You know, why do I have to go buy your olive oil when I can just go to the grocery store and make my own, right?
Right.
Make my own mixture. And then, you know, then you do have commercial alternatives. Maybe I'm too lazy to try to make my own mixture, but so I want to go to a Carol's Door or someone else that have those things. But that's because there has been some relationship building. So you can't get to any of those things until you deal with, you know, like I said earlier, until you deal with how we are we willing to change. And you can have a society that's within a society. Muslim people do it all the time. You're in a major Christian country, but they still go to their mosque. The women still practice how they practice. Asian people do it all the time. We have to agree that we are no longer going to assimilate, to go back to what works, to be willing to give up a collective power. You know, if you go back to matriarchal society, you know, men have to be willing to give up that power, but women have to go back to a level of submissiveness. And that's how you make it work. But you can't have one because women
Without
give
the
up.
other.
Right.
Gotta work
I
hand
do
in
a
hand.
lot of I've done in the past a lot of women conferences, more than I can name. We teach all these great things for these women conferences and stuff like that. But what happens is we're empowered. We want to do right. We want to follow this. But as soon as you get home and you go back into the same conditions that you left, then what? So I say stop having women conferences. We need to start having some men conferences. We're conferenced enough. It makes no difference in learning if you're not gonna. I mean, look at what all TD Jakes and all of them. They never have like those mega men conferences. But woman, thou art loosed.
Oh,
And every right wherever it is coming. I think we need to go back to that and men not look at women um as their opposition. You know, not be against releasing some levels of control and power. And then you'll see that it would make that turn. But I don't think a lot of black men are ready for that. Because it's like, if I let this go, then what do I have? Well, you can have, do you want to have heaven just when you go to heaven after you die, or do you want to have heaven on earth, and then if you die, then that's even better, right? You know, why wait for it in the afterlife when you can have it
right
here?
now.
That's right.
So
Okay, I'm gonna share just some contrasting ideas for the sake of conversation.
okay. We got a very short window. We gotta go.
Tell me how much time you got.
Now?
But let's hear what right.
Just put some contrast, right? Because that argument is one that I really like, you know, particularly with black men in America. Because it was in America that you had Master Father Muhammad. He came with black man as God to give men a different frame of mind from the enslaved man. And that conversation, you know, went into the Nation of Islam, went into the gods and earths, you know, even from the Moors before that, who begin to designate a classification for men to uplift themselves. In idea and in hindsight, we can say the women will have to be more submissive, or go back to, as Dr. Ben will argue, a matriarchal society, which is an African concept. We're talking about the collective versus the individual. And but here, you know, when you look at warfare, the design was, let's kill the men and let's control the minds of the women. So even in foresight, it's a great concept. How do we get there? Like what's necessary to get there? Because I can see everything you're saying, but I'm still at the point of when the brother was talking where it's the bridge, and we at the bridge, and then there's specific things that go into that bridge, that when we get to the other side of the bridge, we actually demonstrating these things. A dude said to me, and this was last week, he said, you know, I try to do it, you know, being submissive to her, but their relationship started out with children outside of what they share. Now, in the middle of the conversations or in the midst of the arguments, the concept is my children come first. So she's more willing to pull from the resources of the whole, even that he provides, as him being assistant to her, versus them still working as a collective. But they have concepts, analogies, and philosophies, and a mindset that was way before him. Am I being understood?
Well, I think the problem is that they never really went into that situation with a collective thought process.
Right.
You can't have this is yours, this is mine, and then we'll try to throw it together. Once you make that commitment, then it becomes this is ours.
Right.
It's no longer those are your kids.
These are our kids.
These are our kids. There is no, you know, and that's one thing I never understood about black people. We always had this understanding, like white people say, well, if me and my sister, or let's say me and my brother, if we got different daddies, then we're half. If we got this, all black people believe if we got the same mama, then we're the same. It ain't no right. We ain't got no halves. We ain't got no whatever. So when you get married and you bring in that family, then that's what you're saying is that I become this parent to this child. Right. You become that parent. It ain't, and in certain cases it will work out even better, because that means that a child will grow up having 2 or 3 mamas and 2 daddies. What's the worst you're gonna get, like 2 Christmas presents or whatever you get? So I think you can't have that perspective. If you create a collective union, the union has to be about that. When America goes and consumes a country, they go and consume that country, and you change for that country. They beat it in you that you are American. They fly the flag everywhere, they whatever. So when you go into a union, but that's done strategically, because if you have any mindset of that's this and that, then that's where it gets separated. So when you create a family, whether you got outside kids here and there, whatever, that becomes one family.
Right. It needs to go away immediately.
Period.
Effective immediately.
And
it doesn't matter how old the kids are. It
right.
doesn't matter how long you and the individual been together. You sit down as 2 willing, capable, able, positive people that's trying to be productive in this world. And say, we're gonna come together.
Right.
I'm gonna be the mama, you're gonna be the dad. This is what we're doing. Everything's gonna come together. We're gonna raise this house together.
I don't care if the kids grown, because
I got my account, you got your account. I'm gonna take care and do this with the kids. You want
and now what does that look like in all of the areas of people activity? Because I can hear the finance and I can even hear it, conceptually, but what does that look like in education? Are we selecting
education? To me, all of that will fall into place because of the fact when you start talking about education, if you're talking about a single home, that mom is going to be working 3-4 jobs to make sure her kids have. So she's not home to give that nurturing and to educate her child in the house. Versus if there's 2 parents in the house, somebody's going to offset what the other one is missing. So as far as education, if us as a people decide to come together and we're positive and we're being constructive about it, everything else will fall into place. It doesn't have to be, well, what's going to happen next? It's going to automatically happen. But what the problem is that you have people that feel like, well, I'm better than her, so I got to let her know I'm better than her. And they always want to step on people's toes versus I'm going to bring this to the table. You bring your portion to the table. You bring your portion to the table. How we going to make this work and make a change and make it better? Everything else will fall into place.
And the most important thing with education, because I'm a former kindergarten teacher too, is that it's stability. So if let's say that I married Karen's former husband, and she has kids and I have kids. Well, we should be on one accord because whether the kids stay at her house, they should be getting the same quality or
That's
if
right.
they're staying with me. So education, so if Karen happens to not have a job and I work, then why can't, and we want kids to be, stay at home children,
I'ma take care of
why
them,
can't
Rosa.
Karen, right, why can't
But
she
you
be?
don't have a lot of people that have that thought
Right.
process. And
How do you
that's
get
what
there?
it is.
Well, it's
How do you
easy.
get there in conversation?
The easiest thing you gotta say is that it's never about you. It's always about the generation
kids
coming
that's
forward.
coming next.
We have had our time. We're older people are not gonna change. But if you come together and realize that it is about the kids, it's about furthering. As human beings, the only thing that we can do is to further that gene, to continue those cells.
All right, this is
You
where
have
I'm
to
at.
put aside. You have
Because
to
we
put
get these
aside-
philosophies and these opinions and even this factual information, but the practice of it, actually doing it, is that's where that concept of we're at the bridge, but we don't cross it.
Well, that's
Everybody's not gonna cross the bridge.
and
And
everybody.
that bridge is not for everybody to cross. I'm gonna tell you right
No,
now.
that's real.
But I'm
It's
telling
not.
you
That's
right
real.
now,
No, everybody's
that's
just
being
not gonna
straightforward,
cross
because
the bridge.
everybody, and that's the thing, that's the mindset that I think we all have. We're like, well, I'm going across the bridge, I'm bringing you across. She might not be in a position or in a place to cross that
Right.
bridge, so she needs to stay where she is until she get
And
herself
it'll make
together.
sense,
And
but she's
everybody
just
who's
not
crossing
ready.
the bridge is
Yeah.
making a difference, because what's gonna see, let your light so shine. They're gonna see you crossing the bridge. What did you do to get to cross the bridge? Now they're gonna start changing and doing different things so they can come across the bridge and be on the other side to see
And
that
some
beauty
people
that
need
you're
to
now
be
seeing.
the foundation of the bridge.
There you go.
Some people need to be the rock of the bridge.
And just stand there and
and
hold
just
that
stand there
bridge
and hold
together.
it
Hold the
together.
bridge.
Come on now.
That's all you need.
That's real.
And I mean, it's too
That's
easy.
real.
I have a stepdaughter, and Charles and I are not married. However, when her mom and Charles and I first got together, she was 3, she's 14 now. We talked about it. We was like, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen. This is what's best.
When she with me, I'm the mama. When she with you the mama.
And that's it. There's no conversation about it. So when it's time to go get her and bring her to stay with us, there's no conversation about it.
There's no
Only thing
issues.
is where are we meeting? Are we coming all the way to get her, or are we meeting halfway?
Halfway.
That's the only conversation that we have. She doesn't send any money. She doesn't send any whatever,
But
because
she's
when
taking
she's
care
on
of
our dime,
She's
when
taking
she's
care
with us, she's on our dime. When she's at home, then he needs to give her what she needs to have a good living. Her quality of life should not change from when she comes to us and when she goes home to her mom. Her quality of life has to stay the same, because that's stable.
And I can add to her. I just recently got a divorce, and if anybody was to see my ex-husband and myself, you would never believe that we're divorced, because when we stood in front of that judge and she's standing there and she's like, y'all sure you don't want to get a divorce? We realize the problem is us, but our kids
And the quality
is
of
what our
life
priority
of the
and our
kids
goals
don't
are.
fall.
So for us, we ain't got no problems. We don't have no problems when it comes to our children, because we want them to have the best. We want to make
Right.
sure that they're taken care of. When he with them, when they with him, he do what he gotta do. When they with me, I do what I gotta do. If we need help, hey, the boys need this. All right, what we doing? And we meet
That's the
halfway.
common ground.
We
That's
meet
y'all.
halfway because
the
it's
only
about
ground.
the children.
It's
It ain't got nothing to do with us.
Right. That's the only
Nothing.
ground.
Our situation is done. It's a done deal.
Right.
This is about the kids.
The
What can we
future-
do to make sure
right.
that they get everything that they need, that they can be successful, productive Black men in this world?
The children are the only ground. That's the only thing that pushes us forward. That's it. I mean, we're at a point now where we've lived. It's time to as I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know this. We're the only species on the planet that say I don't know what my purpose is. People
Yeah.
confuse skills and jobs and careers for purpose. As a human being, you only got one purpose. It is to learn, and then when you get to a point that you've learned, then to teach.
That's
To
right.
teach it back. Your skill is the mechanism that you teach it in. Tiger Woods played golf. That is not his.
Are you
his
familiar with
whatever.
the book Sankofa, Re-Africanization,
Yes,
and the realities of war?
yes.
Those are key concepts.
That's the only concept. Once you learn, then you push it back. Your skill, what you learn as a skill is the mechanism that you use to push it back. Tiger Woods is great at golf. But that is not his purpose. His purpose is I learned all of these wonderful
Now I'm gonna even bring some
Right,
kids
it's
and
things
teach
about
them.
life, because golf is a very cerebral type of game. It teaches you a lot of patience. You have to learn a lot of physics, geometry. You have to learn weather. You have to learn all those things.
That's right.
So that's a very good, skill to have. Well, he's learned that skill. Now it's time for him to teach it to somebody else. The reason why he's not successful right now is he hasn't made that turn to try to teach it back. He's still trying to get trying to stay in the game. But what you'll learn, like take Jack Nicholson for example. Every golfer that ever met him says he's very nice. He's very giving. I was just out there just practicing on the greens, and he walked up to me and taught me how to do my swing, and whatever. The reason why Jack Nicholson is a guy that didn't fall down in the golf world is because he was known for pushing it back. Tiger's trying to find his way. You're past that now. It's time for you. It's time for you to bring everybody else. And if you look at ancient Kemet or Egypt, whatever you want to call it, you went through your priesthood for 30 something years. At 40, you came out of it, and then at 40, it was time for you to start teaching other people. You've reached the height of what you have learned, and then now it's time to teach the next person to come along. It has to be a cutoff period, but you got people in their 40s and their 50s still trying to find who they are. And you've had all these life experiences, and you mean to tell me you don't have anything to teach? Quit looking for the things that
already in front of you.
That you already have. Find your little skill. Find out something that you're gonna use to just coast you out or whatever. But at this point in time, it's time to teach it back. That's what we do when we're in our sorority or whatever. We don't have any programs that we just got to build Karen up or build us
up. It's not about us.
It's everything we do is about the children.
Community and the kids. And a lot of people think because it's a sorority, it's only young girls. We did a youth symposium and we had nothing but teenage boys.
Wow.
They were from a group home. But sometimes they need to be around women. They've been around
things from a different perspective.
Right. And they act differently. They're just like, these are like 17, 15, 16-year-old. They give the men, because the men roughhouse with them. When they're around us, they're like,
gentle.
Yes, Miss Brown. Yes, and they need to learn those things, because now when it's time to start their family, you can't roughhouse with your woman. You need to be able to tell her, yes, Miss, whatever. That's how.
Okay.
We gotta go, but
no, I mean, I want you to,
I know you
do what you do.
Have more conversation,
but because this is what happens. Like sometimes, when you have the feminine energy, right? Some women use it wrong in the field of communication and in the field of interaction. And in that communication and interaction, the man gets stifled in that environment or distracted in that environment. So, people is going to do what people is going to do. Negativity is just going to be. What would you say what would anyone say would be good things to do? Because I know that for me, tapping into my higher self is how I avoid that stuff. Yeah, most of the time. Sometimes it gets to me too. However, how do we manage that? Because it's a distraction. A man could be, and even for women too. Y'all energy is strong.
I think what you have to realize is that the same place in the human brain that produces sexual energy is the same place that creativity is from.
That's right.
I think you confuse sexual energy for creativity. If you look at Da Vinci, look at all those people who drew pictures of Mona Lisa and all those types of things. Most of them found their inspiration in women, but and then instead of using that inspiration from a sexual perspective, they used it for creativity, and they've created things that a million years from now people still gonna know.
I never heard it like that.
And that's all it is. She is just amused when you're feeling those things. She's tapping into your creativity, and you just don't know that that's what it is. You haven't looked at it. Like if you're in that mood or whatever, then take the time out and then whatever you like to do. Let's say you like to write. Channel that energy into writing. Channel that energy into whatever it is that you like to do. The reason why, like, if you look at a lot of entertainers and athletes and stuff like that, the reason why they're so, like, they got to have all these different women or whatever is because their creativity is at its highest. And they're not channeling when they're off the court is when they get in trouble. When it's game season, they're fine. But anytime you pull them off the court, that's when they start to get in trouble. That's because they've gone from the height of creativity, then all of a sudden after, March Madness is dropped. You forgot it.
Right now.
You've won a championship. You're done. So that's why I would say, like, women help to bring out that creativity. That's what we were, and if you look at old ancient African art, like the oldest piece of African art is a statue of a woman. And
So men should be less that's a man's fault for being sexually attracted to
no,
a
you
woman.
should be, but just understand that when
Because
you're feeling,
some don't come just to be the muse or just to inspire the creativity.
well, you just figure out how to turn that. Even if she is coming the wrong way, then what about her are you really driven to?
Do you have a son too?
Me? I don't have any children.
Okay, she has sons.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, what would you tell your son as to not be distracted or encouraged in the wrong manner by
Well,
a woman
I don't.
who presents creativity versus the concept
Well,
of idea?
it all
and
lies in the same
sexuality.
position. I don't think you can tell them that it's the difference, but when they're feeling that way, instead of you telling them to go take a cold shower, the way you do it is go draw me a picture. Show me what you're doing. Go and paint me what you're feeling. Go and do whatever, because
Write a poem.
write a poem and
You
what
heard
you're
her
feeling.
conversation?
But she knows.
No, because you're a mom with sons. So in the concept of that sexual energy turning into creativity, how do you redirect that energy through your sons?
Well, with my sons, like I said, they'll be 13 this at the end of this month, and they're at that age where they ask about questions, their body's changing, they're feeling this, and we sit down and we talk about it. But they also play sports. They play soccer. I have one that wants to play soccer. He runs track and he plays basketball.
She displaces
So,
that
I
energy.
put it someplace else. But the thing is, as a mother, and being that I'm divorced, I don't stifle them. I allow them to ask me any questions, because you have some women that feel like, well, we can't talk about that, and they don't want to talk about that. Let your dad talk about it. No. However they come up with a question, I have, as a mother, I have to just speak on their level, because I'm plain talk with them. I'll tell them, well, this is what this is, but you all are not at the age to understand the depths
And if you
the
feel
ramifications
right.
of those things if you were to do them.
That's
Because of the fact it's not just a
Accountability,
moment, it's going to be something else
responsibility.
that happens after.
And if you're feeling that and it's starting to, get to the point that it comes out, how can we address it creatively? How can we address it constructively? If you see this beautiful girl, she just stole your heart. Write about it. Tell us.
Wow.
How you feel
Now
about
that's
it.
very
I have a son that draws. One of my boys draws. And
So that's what it
Right.
looked like. It gotta look like something.
Right.
So whatever it looks like, and all that energy that you got there, you start drawing.
Right.
It starts to release.
Right. It'll release, and you never know, that could be the catalyst behind him being like the greatest artist ever. Right. If he work on cars, hey baby, go mom need an oil change.
I'll fix that car.
Whatever. And then you push them in a space that you don't take it away, because the worst that can happen is you end up killing it.
Right.
And that's when you
You
get
don't wanna do
perversion.
that.
You don't want to kill it. You'll get people that are perverse, and they'll give it a woman, and the woman's not enough. Then they gotta have two women. Then they go to 35, and then it becomes perversion. But you just find a way to filter it and channel it in the right way. And for girls too,
It's the
girls
same
are
way.
right.
It's the same way, and I think that's misunderstood, because I believe I've had plenty of conversations where men believe that girls don't think like, yeah, we
Yes,
do.
they do.
Yeah, we
But
do.
the good thing about it is girls are more hugged and nurtured.
Right. So
when she wants to feel the closeness
just gonna
of a
hug my
guy,
mama.
I'll go close I'll go sit on my daddy. I'll go hug him, and then that draws that energy back, because what they're not at that age, they're not necessarily craving the sexual attention. They're craving that masculine energy, that feminine energy. They want to be up under somebody. They want to be, and that goes back to, like, black people need to stop telling boys, like, when they get to be 10 or whatever, y'all men or whatever, those boys need to be held as long as they possibly can by, especially, like, I got two nephews. My brother be like, well, y'all hold too much. Well, we don't hold them. Somebody else who doesn't love them is going to hold them in a certain way, and it's gonna affect how they relate to women. But now they're loving and respectable guys, because that's how we filter in them. I truly believe they're not going to be those guys that are going to be hurtful to women, because the first thing they're going to say is, well, my auntie, my mother, my grandmother, I can't hurt another woman, because I wouldn't want someone to hurt them.
Right.
But we love them hard enough that they understand that. My nephew that's 11, come sit by auntie, hold him, twist his hair, hold his hand, make him understand that what you're feeling is okay.
It's not
Right. It's you're 11 years old. You only been on this earth 11 years. You need to still have emotion. You still need to have affection. If you're 17, you only been on this earth 17 years. You still need to feel some connection to human beings. You can't just hold a baby for 2 years or whatever and then like get out the way. That's how you end up with a Unabomber and people like that need to go live in the mountains by themselves. Human beings were meant to be up under each other. And I've gone like to a lot of African women that do hair and hung around a lot of African people. They still coddle their kids. They still hold their kids until they're up there twisting your hair, and they got a 10-year-old still holding her leg, while they're braiding your hair. Well, why we only did that because that's what Europeans told us that you're supposed to do. They're ready. They put their kids in boarding school, get rid of them. But now those white women are coming back to breastfeeding. Back in the day, they created something like we did. We were the nursemaids, we were the wet maids and stuff. But now they're bringing their kids back
doing
home.
that natural childbirth, what's this called?
Exactly.
Midwifery.
So we just need to go back to what we always have known.
Right.
So
How the men ate in slavery. Breastfeed.
if you gotta do it, you gotta do it.
All right, so let's create this segue because I know y'all gotta leave.
We have to
So this is what I got. Let's
Okay.
get the muse, create the plan, work the plan, check the outcome, evaluate the outcome in a timely manner to make sure that you get done what it is that you set out to do.
And not everybody gonna do it.
And not everybody.
And you have to meet people where they
Where
are.
they at?
We're big on that.
We are so big on
Right.
that. I'll say this before we leave. Look.
No, go ahead.
I'll say this before we leave.
Sit down.
In our organization, we understand it's women. We have different personalities, we have different characteristics, we have different upbringing, we have different backgrounds. But if you know you're gonna be cute and you're gonna wear your blue and gold and your pearls and be that one to show up at an event, cross your leg and be cute and eat you, that's your ministry. You do it and be the best thing at it.
Everybody's not meant to plan programs.
We'll plan and make sure I's dotted, T's crossed, paperwork's done, everything's set up, let's go. So you gotta meet people where they at.
Right.
Don't try to make
she'll
people,
tell you,
you need to do this.
Don't
right.
try to.
No, because you tell them to do it, they're not gonna do it,
Right.
then you're gonna be mad. Why you gonna?
she knows I've been pushing that for many
We ain't
years.
doing that. That's
We
unnecessary.
let you be where you are. We meet you where you are. That's what you can
Gotta
do,
make it
and
work.
that's the best you